Hey everyone, welcome in to another daily editorial here on the KE Report. I'm getting an update from Sitka Gold. We're going to be talking about a couple financings that the company closed in about just a month's time, over $8.8 million raised, as well as some drill results from the 15,000 meter drill program ongoing at the company's RC Gold project in the Yukon within that Tombstone Gold Belt, a very well-known gold belt. I am chatting with Mike Burke, Director and Vice President of Corporate Development over at Sitka Gold. Sitka is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol SIG, on the OTCQB under the symbol SITKF, and on the Frankfurt Exchange under the symbol 1RF. Now, Mike, as I said, a number of things for us to get to. Let's start with the ongoing 15,000 meter drill program and the first round of results that the company put out. 4 holes. You released these August 19th, about a month ago now. Headline is 290 meters of 1.1 gram per ton gold, including 105 meters of 1.68 grams per ton gold at the RC Gold project. Mike, take us through the 4 holes that were released here. Remind everybody of the strategy of this drill program, whether it's expanding on the known resource or infilling it, and what these drill results are telling you initially here.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. This is a resource expansion drill program that we've been doing on the Blackjack deposit at RC Gold. As we put out our first resource back in January of 2023. So we've had 2 seasons of drilling to expand this deposit, and we're not done yet. It keeps delivering. So in early August, we released 4 drill holes, and you mentioned the headline hole 62, and that was one of the deepest holes drilled on the deposit to date. Or these holes are actually outside of the deposit area, expanding the resource to the south and to depth where we've been focused as we follow this mineralization.
So that headline hole was hole 62. Another hole that we should highlight, hole 61, that returned 206 meters of 0.64 grams per ton gold, included 27 meters of just over a gram per ton gold. One thing we should note is the resource, that initial resource you mentioned of little over 1.3 million ounces, average grade is 0.68 grams per ton gold. So these, at least 2 results from that news release, at or over the average resource grade. What does this mean for expanding the resource then, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, that resource is on the entire, there's 2 deposits that we discovered, and that's the combined resource, inferred resource, hit constrained. And the Blackjack deposit is 900,000 ounces at a grade of 0.83. So it's the higher grade of the 2. And these are intrusion-related deposits, nice consistent mineralization, and we are seeing in this Blackjack deposit and the resource expansion higher grades. We've intersected a whole lot more plus 100 gram meter holes in our resource expansion program. So we're pretty excited. We know we've grown the deposit in size, and the grade looks to be very robust as well. So with the drill holes we've been producing, we're fully expecting to see, an increase in hopefully both those numbers. So yeah, we're very excited. We're continuing to drill. We're going to drill till the end of October up here in the Yukon on the project. And yeah, it's kind of the gift that keeps giving. Every geologist likes drilling off a gold deposit if you're focused on gold. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Let's also talk about the most recent news release, September 11th. No actual drill result here, but you are outlining some visuals from the drill core in the deepest hole ever at this RC Gold project. 680 meters this hole was drilled to. You mentioned visible gold being seen. What's the potential here of this deeper component of the drilling and, I guess, expanding the resource deeper?
Yeah, we felt because this hole was designed to test the depth extent of the Blackjack because it's remaining very strong at depth. So it was drilled kind of down plunge on the deposit. And it was drilled to a total depth of over 700 meters. But significantly, we intersected visible gold from 4.5 meters. And the last observation was at 680 meters and over 40 occurrences of visible gold. That's the most visible gold we've seen in a drill hole. So we felt it was material to put that out and bring it to people's attention. And that's 200 meters deeper than any hole that's been drilled on the Blackjack area to date. So it's a significant drill result. We're waiting for assays on that. We did mention we've had other holes that didn't have a lot of visible gold in them and produced great results. Hole 47 was one that we highlighted. So although we're obviously very excited to see visible gold, it's not necessarily a direct correlation to grades, but we're pretty certain we're going to see some decent grades in this drill hole. So yeah, it's a really interesting development in seeing how consistent this deposit is to depth and adds some different components to it as we continue to explore it and expand it and figure out the controls on geology that's developing with this discovery we have.
So, Mike, just a quick overview of this 15,000 meter drill program. Approximately how many holes are you going to drill? How far are you through the program right now as well?
Yeah, we've drilled about 16 holes. We're around 8,000 meters. So we'll get a little bit more drilling in till the end of October. Not sure what the final number will be. We did slow down a little bit in the summer, and so we might not reach that full 15,000, but we'll get up there. We're happy with the results and the production we've had. So yeah, it's been a significant year. I think after our initial resource, which was based in the Blackjack on about 7,500 meters of drilling. Post that resource, we'll have another close to 15,000 meters of drilling in the resource expansion. So that gives a bit of a context of what we're looking at as we continue to drill this deposit and grow it.
So do you expect to update that resource then after this year's drill program?
Yeah, we're certainly looking at that, obviously. So yeah, stay tuned.
Mike, where do you see the best expansion potential for the resource at that Blackjack deposit? Is it along strike or is it at depth?
We don't really know that. It's very strong to the south and at depth. I mean, this hole that we put the visuals out on, the amount of visible gold at depth is pretty encouraging. So we'll wait for the assays on that. But definitely our geological model is really evolving as we kind of figure out some of the structural controls that we're seeing on this mineralization. And what that does is it helps us understand other known targets on our property area, but it's also highlighting a few new areas that haven't seen a lot of exploration in the past. So it's really opening up our knowledge and our eyes to the overall potential of this Clear Creek project, which is in the RC Gold area.
Now, let's take a look at some figures that you've put into the recent news releases. The most recent news release, it's figure 4. That news release from August 19th, it was figure 2. It shows these different targets across this Clear Creek intrusive complex on the RC Gold project. Talk to us about some of these newer targets that could be drilled, please.
Yeah, you can see these targets in that figure. If you're looking at it, there's hatched areas that outline areas that have seen a fair amount of drilling in the past, but still are relatively early stage. And we highlight the Pukelman stock, the contact zone, which is just on the southern margin of the Pukelman. If you look at that figure, you can see there's some structural interpretation on there that coincides nicely with the previous drilling. Previous drilling was in 2011 and 2012, so the Pukelman area, Rosgobble stock, and the Bearpaw Breccia haven't seen work for the last decade. Our work that we've been doing up on the Blackjack and Eiger deposits and really starting to understand controls on mineralization and the setting, really start to highlight some of the potential that we're seeing in these other areas. So we definitely have our plate full. Our project is expandable. We could have quite a few drills up on the site if conditions warranted that. But certainly we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we're certainly looking forward to it.
So let's tie in all that work with the money that has been raised. September 6th, you closed a $5.5 million private placement where Crescat Capital took a portion of that. August 2nd, before that, you had just closed over $3.3 million. So you closed over $8.8 million in private placement since the beginning of August. how do you go about managing that budget, but continuing to drill? Where do you focus? How do you allocate that money?
Yeah, we're allocating the money to continue drilling on the Blackjack and expanding that. What that does is it sets us up to easily complete this year's program and have a good foundation for next year's program. 5.5 million, the recent financing was hard dollars, and before that was flow through. So yeah, obviously we have a lot of money in the till, and we're going to do what we've always done when we've raised money. We've highlighted we're not a bank, we're an exploration company. We're focused on discovery, and we've delivered that on the Blackjack deposit and Eiger, and we see a lot more discoveries in our future here. So we're going to expand on those known discoveries, really start getting an idea of the resource potential of this property. But when you look at that figure too, you can see the number of targets, every intrusion in the Clear Creek intrusive complex here that now we control 100%. Has known gold mineralization with it. So we're really looking forward to really diving in on these next year. And that money raise that we did really gives us the ability to do great planning for next year and really hit this hard.
Okay, so again, in summary, then this year's drill program focused around that Blackjack deposit to expand the resource. Next year is when you might go more after some of these other targets, these newer targets for Sitka Gold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, obviously we've done some geological work on these, and we've got a pretty solid plan going forward. Everybody's itching to get at it. But like I said, this year, Blackjack area has been the gift that keeps giving. We haven't really fully outlined that. It's a nice high grade deposit already, and we're expanding it. So it's really a key part in driving the economics of this area. We hope to find other high-grade deposits, but certainly the gold endowment of this Clear Creek area has got a long ways to go with Sitka Gold exploring it.
Well, and the share price has done fairly well too after these results were released. It bounced starting more the week of August 12th when that news was released August 19th and has trended higher. Mike, just recap us then in terms of how long are these results taking to turn around at the assay lab? Any other news that investors should be watching out for outside of simply drill results?
We've done some geological work. We're expecting assays fairly soon. When you're going through a financing, we had to black out our results, so that stopped the flow of assays coming to us. So that blackout is off now. So we're starting to see assays trickle back in. So we expect to have a good news flow over the next few weeks here with the holes that we released the visuals on. We're hoping that's coming in fairly quick. And then, of course, we're still drilling till the end of October. So I'd anticipate that we'll have a good news flow up until Christmas time or shortly after, kind of typical turnaround, couple months we see to get all the data in and interpret it and get it out to our investors.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for this update. Again, Mike Burke, Director and Vice President of Corporate Development at Sitka Gold. Click that link in the show notes to visit the Sitka Gold website, read over the recent news, and please email me any questions you have for Mike and the team over at Sitka Gold. Mike, thanks for the update today.
You're very welcome.